Dude, it's literally my turn. You said one more round. Yeah, I know. Just let me finish this. You said 1 round, bro. It's been 1 round. Get off the chair. Dude, are you serious? Why did you queue into another game? Siblings are annoying. I mean, come on. It's not exactly amazing having to share everything with them. We have to share our food, our games, anything. We have to be cooperative. Why can't I just have unlimited time playing Bed Wars, Minecraft, or Fortnite? Why do I have to be locked by the shackles of this other person I never asked for? This was the mindset I had for the longest time growing up. But as I matured, me and my siblings actually grew to become closer. Growing up, my brother and I didn't get along most of the time, and it really felt like we fought about absolutely anything. Even most exchanges and quote-unquote conversation will lead to pathetic mini wars over the most mundane things. This would range from things like how equally split a piece of food or drink was, down to the nanometer, or how much time one really spent on the computer playing Minecraft. One time, my brother held a grudge for over 7 years because I drank his Sprite from the fridge. What was I supposed to do? It was just sitting there. I'm not just gonna leave Sprite undrank. Usually, when we would fight, it would end up resulting to half-wit, heckles of throwing around whatever is mildly insulting until one of us gets upset. You're being such a poo-poo head. Oh yeah? Well, you're a weirdo. No, I'm not. Yes, you're a weirdo. And a fart head too. Stop calling me that! Kayong dalawa, gusto nyong sapakin ng chinelas? Usually, with fights like these, we would be forced to get along despite our differences. Otherwise, we would meet the wrath of a slipper. Needless to say, my brother and I would be a little more careful, and we had to be a little stealthy with it. Sometimes we would quietly fight so my dad wouldn't hear and get pissed off. Then there were times I remembered when we would play video games when I was way younger, and my brother would always watch. I was exponentially better than him in every way when it came to gaming. Eventually, when he didn't have the motor function of a doorknob, he started playing video games too. Later on, we played some video games together. Of course, those sessions would always lead to regular fights or disagreements, as per usual. For example, one day we were given a tablet, and we would play on it a lot. We would take turns sharing it, and I remember a particular time getting very annoyed and frustrated because he would play the game all wrong. Like one time, he was playing Plants vs. Zombies, and he would literally place the walnuts at the back lane. Those shitters are supposed to go on the front line. Like, brother, that's where the sunflowers and mushrooms are supposed to go. They're supposed to go at the back. Look, I get he was 5, but watching this was like watching someone break dirt in Minecraft with a sword. There was this other time when we had Minecraft on our PS4. I would always criticize his houses. If they're ugly, I would have to ask him to remove it because we cannot have an ugly world. If I somehow died with full diamond armor, I would find a way to blame him, even if it obviously wasn't his fault. It's funny looking back on all this now because in present day, I get completely obliterated by him in most games we play. It's safe to say I hate Super Smash Bros. Now. Fast forwarding a bit, 12 years later, my little sister was born. Now, me and my brother are around the same age, but my sister is a wee little child, so we're kind of like second parents to her. It was a very unique experience for both my brother and I because it was a huge age gap, and also I had never imagined having a sister. Having a baby sibling was a learning experience and taught me how to be more mature, nurturing, and caring. In addition, it taught us how to be good role models. My brother and I made sure to treat her with utmost care since she was still fragile and small. If my parents were busy, my brother and I could look after her. In a way, it was like a trailer or preview to what being a parent would feel like. Of course, this made my brother the middle child, and as a result, I could sense there was a little bit of resentment, but as time went on, we all eventually became tolerant in one another. Eventually, some sort of canon event hit, and suddenly we were all just besties. Rather than hating each other all the time and being in each other's necks, my brother and I became pretty close, and my brother let go of the resentment built towards our sister. For me, I didn't really have any problems connecting with my sister, but when I wanted to connect with my brother at times, it was difficult because he was more reserved and I didn't really feel that close to him. Eventually, instead of hating on each other, we were chill and actually started talking about things. It began to be sort of like having roommates who happen to share some genes with you. The way I see it, siblings have immense potential of being built-in friends that you can lean on. If you're an only child, you may believe, yeah, sure, it's better to have everything yourself, but I think having a sibling is really quite nice too. If you're in a place of darkness or just want to yap about sweet goss, you could pretty much always have this one person to lean on, or several if you have a sibling. No matter what, in a way, also like practicing how to socialize, since you have someone to talk to regularly and hang out with you when they have the time. Siblings can also be brutally honest with you, pretty much no matter what. If your outfit is dog shit and you're being cringe or weird or whatever, they can easily call you out without an issue. Otherwise, you make them look bad. Dude, what is that haircut? You better grow it back. Why? I just wanted to try a buzz cut. Fresh start, right? Right. Well, you look more like a meth addict than that just got out of prison. Shut your bitch ass up. At least I don't look like a thumb. You're just jealous. Jealous of what? The fact you look like a Walmart Mr. Clean? Now on the flip side, being an only child definitely has its perks. You get to have full attention from your parents. Money doesn't have to be split between someone else when given to you, and you don't have someone constantly trying to annoy you. However, I do think that having siblings can really provide much needed company in times of need. It's a guaranteed built-in safety net to fall back on. In addition, personally, I think it's taught me a lot about managing conflict. Instead of exchanging insults and attempting to irritate the other person, I eventually learned to step away when things got heated or come up with a compromise. I know, crazy. It's almost as if resolving conflict doesn't mean insulting the other person. As an eldest person or eldest brother, in the past, I used to always subconsciously treat my younger siblings like they were below me, like they were some pests or something. However, when I started to treat them like friends rather than nuisances, that's when I think some doors finally opened and there was less tension between us. In particular, when either me or my brother is going through something terrible, we are always there to talk about things and give each other advice. Sometimes we talk shit about annoying people or just talk about what's going on in our lives to catch up. I think this all started when we began to respect each other more. In the past, I feel like it was always about controlling one another. For example, controlling how many games my brother gets to play before it's my turn, even though there's clearly another hour left. In other cases, I would straight up just not treat my brother with any respect at all and boss him around simply because I was older. Or I would just annoy him. I mean, come on, it's fun to annoy your little brother sometimes. Rift that there once was began to fade when I started to treat him more as a friend. Connecting with siblings can be tough, especially in unique cases if there's a huge age gap, there are personality differences, or you haven't talked to each other all that much in your lives. However, if you make the effort to show to some capacity that you care, it can mean a whole lot. Perhaps it isn't you or them that is the problem, and the rift was created by your parents from your upbringing of poor treatment, or maybe your sibling has no idea how to open up to you, or maybe a past conflict made things awkward. These things aren't really in your control, but what is in your control is if you decide to reconnect with them or not. Yeah, siblings can be annoying as hell. I know. I was annoying, my brother's annoying, we're all annoying, but maybe it's time to swallow the bitter pill that you actually care about them deep down. Sometimes you gotta let that ego go, homie. Pack it up, put it in your pocket, put it away. Because I've realized that once there's an established mutual respect for each other, it can have an immensely positive impact on the relationship. This reminds me of one of my favorite channels right now, Jalen Sue, or however you say your name. I really like this channel because it really demonstrates the safety net siblings can provide. In many of these videos, the siblings look like a group of 4 friends just messing around. But they also show vulnerability and deep affection for each other. And guess what? They're Asian. I see so many comments in these videos just praising them for having such a close relationship. It's actually crazy. One of my favorite videos from Jalen is called Asking Siblings to Expose Themselves. It shows them having fun, talking about their relationship with each other, and other aspects of their lives while making pizza. If you're in a typical Asian household like I was, then you probably know a lot about not really being vulnerable with and not having conversation with your siblings. That's probably the typical norm in the culture. I think their relationship shows that if you demonstrate care through time spent and just talking to each other, that can do wonders on strengthening your relationship with your siblings. Otherwise, if you keep quiet about certain problems, resentment builds up, you start to stray away from each other, and it can be fun if you make it fun. If you're ever feeling lonely, sometimes it can be nice to just game with your sibling for a little bit and just have a little chat. If you don't have the time, make the time. This applies to any other relationship as well, but I think it's especially important with your siblings. In the end, you can't really control whether you have siblings or not. You gotta deal with them. If you have some unresolved conflict, resentment, or anything that is holding you or trying to hold you back, that's completely justified. You don't have to connect with your siblings if there is some circumstances that is preventing you from doing so. However, maybe you could just give it a small shot at opening a conversation or spending some quality time with them. You never know. Maybe they could be the bestie you didn't know you had.
Kina! I'm just kidding. Obviously, Corey.
Most annoying siblings probably RJ. Hey, but we
just-
love that, bro.
I'm just quiet the rest of the video.